All right, Gemini, the two cards you're pulling here are a little bit difficult. Now, from Le Vampire, you pulled Immortal, the consuming family and pressure of peers. And then from Chakra Wisdom, you pulled Balance. Now, with Immortal, I was kind of looking at the curse for this one too, and I think that it plays a part in this because of Balance showing up. But now the blessing, it says you are beyond the definitions of the family or the peers of an adopted family. You are more than they say you are, more than they allow you to be, and more than you have permitted yourself to be when in their orbit. Working with this card just says to remember that you are your own person and you can create your own life the way that you choose. Now the curse says if you do not undertake a voyage of discovery into your own self, you will become enmeshed in the webs of the family life and a limited definition of self. And recall too, this can apply to friends who have strong beliefs about who you are, who you ought to be, and how you must do things. There is a great price to be paid for this approval. It is the consumption of the things within you that are budding and have yet to flower. If you wish to be yourself rather than simply a member of a group with a leader who is not you, it is time to explore the alternatives. So, and the reason why that came up for me was because of balance. It's one of two things here. There is imbalance in your life and the things that you're wanting and creating and what you're chasing after because you feel like you're being forced to do this by the pressure of others who think they know how you should be living your life, or you are chasing something and alienating other people because, again, with, Immortal, it's like you're being pushed to do this because of the idea of another and how they think you should be living your life. Now, balance. The very first quote for this card says, I must create before the opportunity disappears. The inspiration says, running towards something may chase it away. Be wary of being deceived by your own desires. And that's where I feel like, Immortal is starting to kick in here. The personal question says, I take me with me wherever I go. Is there a part of my life that may be out of alignment with who I am? The key ideas are chasing illusions, health matters, compulsive behavior, being result-orientated, self-neglect, and honoring values. And you needing to honor your own values here. But, I think that the big-time message for you, Gemini, is that. All right, Gemini, here we go. Here's the energy coming through, the Three of Wands. Now, I don't know, I kind of get an iffy feeling around it just because the Oracle card's showing up. But now normally the Three of Wands, it's great, right? Like you should know what to expect here. You're looking at the long term. You've took the right actions, starting with the Ace, going to the 2, and now you're at the 3. And it's like you're waiting to see how things are going to start to develop here. And again, you should already know what to expect because these are the things that you have set into motion. But, the waiting. It's the waiting. And in the past, the Four of Wands. And, that looks really good. To me, that's suggesting that, there is a stable foundation that is still being built on here. For some of you, this is going to have to do with commitments. There's also that reason to celebrate, which is good. And then, of course, with this card, you see the two people working together. But, we shall see how this is playing out because, I worry here about how, you go from the 4 to the 3 here because this is what's at you right now, and this is where you used to be here. And in the present, the Queen of Wands. Now, for some of you, this could have to do with like working with a person, when you're talking about job or even if you're talking about family and like family business too. But when you're looking at the Queen of Wands, first of all, in terms of the energy that's around you, it looks really good, right? She is the manager. She knows how to get shit together, but there's enthusiasm there and excitement with what's being done. Now, on the other hand, for some of you, you may be dealing with the fire sign. And this could be male or female, and I say that because we're looking at general readings. But I do like it in terms of the energy that's surrounding you, and this could be somebody that you're working with here. And trying to build, a foundation here with the Four of Wands. And, it could just be that you're waiting to see how things are going to develop with this situation. Oh, yeah, so fire. There's like fire all the way around here. Now, future conditions, you have the King of Wands. When I talk about the court cards and when I look at the suits, I always say when it comes to especially personal readings, yeah, I do pay attention to the signs that are involved. But what's more important to me when I see these show up is, the description of the person, depending on what court card shows up here. Now, when it comes to the King and the Queen of Wands, the King, right, always looking toward the horizon, off seeking that new adventure here. Now, if we're talking about a relationship with you, to me, when I see the same suit show up, it looks good. Like, it looks good. It looks like it's a good match. Now, for some of you, you may be waiting on a fire sign here. Now, in terms of like the King and the Queen, back to their personalities, the King kind of loses interest, and the Queen will come through and like get everything together where he does not pay attention to detail. She will, and she will take care of that, right? But, I have a feeling that, for some of you, if you're looking at a commitment with a person, I think there's a waiting period here. And again, the reason why I say that is because of the Four of Wands showing up. Oh, hey, what's up? What's up? Your best path to follow, the Ace of Cups. You're waiting on that. And I can understand. And again, it goes back to this feeling of commitment. Now, again, with this being a general reading, it's not going to apply to everybody, but I think for some of you, you're looking at questions involving a relationship here and commitment and like waiting to see how things are going to work out here. But what you have here is really good. Now, I've always said this, I like the Ace of Cups, but I personally would much rather see like the Ace of Pentacles because that to me is sustainable. It's long lasting. But again, Gemini, you've got this fire energy. You came out with the Four of Wands, that one crazy reading. I'm not feeling like this is two parts to your personality. I think you have one that is really hyper-focused right now on seeing how things are going to work out with possibly a person here. And you're looking at, a beautiful new beginning, by the way, because even though as much as I would rather see the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups is beautiful too. Oh, in your environment. Wow, what's happening? What's happening? All right, so now, when you're looking at the Nine of Wands in your environment, and I'm looking at the Queen of Wands, and you're like sitting here waiting to see how things are going to move forward here with possibly this person, the Nine of Wands is suggesting that, you may have been put through some stuff in this situation. And I kind of worry that, and there's the worry that you are like waiting to see what the next battle is going to be involving this. You know what I mean? And the Nine of Wands doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have to go through another battle. I would have seen that more with like the Seven of Wands, but when you're looking at the Nine of Wands, when they talk about paranoia, it's like, you're waiting to see, am I going to have to go through another battle? Damn it, I'm ready. I'm on guard. But I've always said this with the Nine of Wands, I worry about the person involved here because they may not be seeing the opportunities coming through. And it's because I feel like you're unsure. Like, I feel uncertainty around how things are going to move forward. Your hopes and your fears, The Knight of Cups, so hoping for that offer. It's funny because that Ace of Cups kind of felt like a hope for me rather than, your best path to follow. The Knight of Cups, yeah, right? Like the knight in shining armor and making that offering. But I've always said, in the two for me, I'm like, damn it, you better be wanting to commit here because that's, what you're pulling is the past coming through. I wonder if there was like a halt on a commitment with somebody, because with it being in your past and now you're waiting to see and you're like on guard here and you're hoping for that offer to be made. It's like, You're waiting on this person to offer this to you, basically, is what it is. And you're ready for it. With the Queen of Wands being in the present, I feel like that is the energy surrounding you. I feel like you're ready for it. This looks like a good match for you, but there's something else going on. You know, and when I look at the oracle cards, you know, I kind of go back to that and I think, well, you know, if this isn't you having to deal with this, it may be the person, you know, that you're looking at too. But again, with the Knight of Cups actions, like needing to see actions, right? Like there's got to be follow through. And that comes up again with the King of Wands. If he's going to offer you something here, there has to be follow through. You know, I still like it in terms of, you know, the offering of the love and the romance and the emotional connection. And yes, right, that's great. You know, on the other hand, you know, for some of you, this is just about following your heart and possibly working with a person, waiting to see how things develop. But I do think, though, because of the Ace of Cups and the Knight of Cups and what I'm seeing here, I do think that for some of you, this is going to be about, you know, a relationship with somebody. You know, this is either you guys, you know, starting a new phase in a relationship, or you're waiting on somebody within a new relationship here with the Ace of Cups. Oh ho, and I'm clarifying that shit. Why? What is happening? The Tower. Whew, some fake shit coming down. Some things that gotta get cleared away. You know, it's not necessarily like the... Oh boy. Okay, I got it. Now, with this being connected with the King here, you have the Tower, but then you have the Seven of Swords and you have the Eight of Cups. Now, the Seven of Swords, to me, when I look at this deck, I look at somebody who is like picking up the pieces here. Now, they may not really be discussing this with you. There may be some like major things going on that they're getting ready to walk away from with the Eight of Cups here. You know, and this may be things that they need to change in their life before that offer can come through. You know, and again, with the Seven of Swords, it's not, I don't see sketchy, shitty stuff here, not with where it's connecting with the Tower, you know. Basically, if you're waiting on somebody, they may have like some major things that are happening here that they may not want to talk about. You know, there may be some major changes going on with them with the Tower. I kind of feel like they're going to be left to pick up the pieces. And I think that they're going to give up on that with the Eight of Cups and they're just going to walk away from it. You know, and this may be what some of you are waiting on here. Waiting to see what's going to happen with this person. You know, before things can really start to move forward here when it comes to this. Right? But I'm telling you, this here is connected to this person. I feel like this is more you in the present moment. Now, you're ready now. You're ready now for this and you're waiting on it. And you're waiting to see how things are going to develop with somebody else. Man, oh man. All right, Gemini, we're going to pull some soul trees here and then I'm going to get into the romance angels. You know, and again, I'm looking back at Immortal and I'm looking at balance, you know, and maybe this has to do with the person that may be involved here. Here is what I like about it because I'm looking at the images on the trees and, you know, it looks good. I think that for somebody, it's a risk. It's taking a risk here. You know, somebody's taking a risk when it comes to what is being emotionally offered because again, you know, the Knight of Cups could either be you offering this, you know, and again, you know, your best path to follow, right? Or this could be the other person. But when I'm looking at heal heart and spirit, this is for you. This is about you. And it's also about you and the other person because I'm seeing two trees intertwined here. You know, it's not just about your heart and your spirit here. It may be you and the other person that are doing some healing as well. But the reason why I say that is because you move into play. Right? Like after all of this major change and after all of these difficult things, you know, if you do have that connection, it's time to play. It's time to play. It's time to be happy and it's time to enjoy life. But somebody's taking a risk somewhere. But it doesn't look like it's a bad thing. It's just, you know, after, you know, what happens here, it's like there needs to be some healing. And not just for you, but I feel like, the other person involved, especially for those of you who I'm talking to that are dealing with relationship issues right now, but instead of keeping things heavy, right? Like play, enjoy life. Whew, calling in your soulmate, your prayers and affirmations and visualizations help bring you together. Now, for those of you who are in a relationship, when I see this card, it's like you're pulling on your soulmate. You're pulling on the part of your partner that you see as your soulmate to come in and like help you here. And it may be them calling on you too to kind of help the situation, right? Now, I like the term soulmate. It doesn't necessarily have to be somebody that you're in a relationship with. Like, I have soulmates that I've worked with, right? That I don't have relationships with. For those of you who were a part of the live reading, one of my moderators is definitely my soulmate. I've worked with him for a while, very important to me, right? But when you're looking at it in terms of relationship, you're calling on that part of your partner to come in and like help. And again, it's like they're calling on you too. All right. Now, so the reason why you may be calling on them or they are calling on you is because there is a separation. Now, it could be that, there is a temporary breakup. It could be that you're separated because of, things that are out of your control, whether it's work or whatever. But I've always said with separation, this does not have to be permanent. That is up to you and your partner. But you're calling on them. They're calling on you. You know what I mean? So it doesn't look bad, but, I needed to know, why are you calling on them in that way? Well, it's because there may be a little bit of a separation. For those of you who are looking at this in terms of relationships, I am telling you that the person that you are waiting on is going to be going through something that I feel is going to be a little bit rough, but they're going to leave it behind. And all of that fake stuff's going to be gone. They're going to feel like they're going to be left in the middle of this trying to pick up the pieces here with the Seven of Swords, and they're not going to want to talk about it. Just hang in there and don't worry about whatever fight is coming next with the Nine of Wands, right? It's one of those things where you have to accept that maybe, the person that you're interested in has a bunch of stuff going on other than the relationship that, may be causing some major problems for them that they have to deal with. But I'm not seeing it as a bad thing. I just think that you're going to have to hang in there for a little bit. All right, Gemini, so my big time feeling around this is that you may be waiting on somebody here and you may not know really what's going on. And I think it's because they're not really talking about things here when I'm looking at, the Seven of Swords and the Eight of Cups. They've got something that's going on here, and the reason, again, why I say this is because, I'm looking at you and I'm looking at another person here. And it looks good. It looks like a good match. I just think that, and again, with this being a general reading, it's not going to resonate with everybody, but whoever I'm meant to connect with here, if you're waiting on somebody, be careful here about thinking that there's going to be some battle ahead when there may not be. Because I feel like what's happening for this person is external to what is, going on with you and what your main focus is here, right? Because I'm looking at commitment coming through. It doesn't look bad. Now, in terms of, what gets me with this is when I see express your love and I'm looking at, the Knight of Cups and then your best path to follow being the Ace of Cups, I think you do need to express the way that you feel. But, at the same time, it's like you have to remember that there may be some things that, they're dealing with that, need to be cleared up. I think that they're going to stop spending time with it eventually and they're going to move away from it. But I think that, this is something that is going on with them. And it's like you're waiting to see how, how it's going to clear itself up and how things are going to start to develop within the relationship. Now, in terms of immortal and balance, this can go both ways. This is either you or the person that you're dealing with here. Now, again, you have the right to create your life the way that you choose, the way that you see is the right way for you to live your life. You shouldn't be chasing illusions here based on what, somebody else thinks. It's their illusion, not yours, right? Now, that could also be the problem with the person that you may be waiting on. I'm telling you, the way that I feel about it is that is not happening for you. That is happening for another person. You're just waiting. You're waiting here, but I don't think you're hearing anything about it just yet. Now, in terms of your soul trees, risk, heal, heart and spirit, and then play. So, somebody's taking a risk here, but it's going to lead to some healing. And I think the healing is going to be you and this other person, but then you go into play, right? Damn it, play. Enjoy life and enjoy the time that you have with the people that you care about. Even if this doesn't have to do with a romantic relationship, this could be a family relationship, this could be a business partnership. Whatever this is here, whatever the relationship is with this person, I'm telling you that it's going to be important for you to, kind of be there to help with the healing of the spirit, but not just with that person, but with yourself as well. Because again, the two trees entangled. But play, right? Like, have fun, enjoy life, enjoy the good moments. Now, and I had to do it. Calling in your soulmate and then separation. So the reason why you're calling on them right now, for those of you who are in a relationship, is because there is a separation. And I kind of go back to express your love. So if there is a separation going on for some of you, and when you're doing this, you don't want to do it in a way that's like oppressive, but I'm not seeing that here. I'm just seeing you being a little bit on guard. You're wanting to do it, but are you really going to do it? You know what I mean? Is kind of how I feel about it. But I really do think that tower is not associated with you. I feel like it's associated with the person that you are dealing with directly. Now, looking at it for some of you, if you are dealing, and the reason why I have to say this is because of general reading, right? If you are dealing with the tower, I think you're going to be all right here. It's not something you're just abandoning with the Eight of Cups, or the other person for that matter. It's just you're done investing time into something that wasn't worthy of you in the first place. But either way, once that clears up, I think that things will start to get better when it comes to, rebuilding here, rebuilding back on that commitment.